Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomizer. This is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 90. I've got 4 words I want to take a close look at today. Let's get started here. I want you to read these words right out loud. Ready? What's this first word? How about this word? The third word. And finally, all right, question for you. Were any of those tricky to read? Did you need more time? Keep watching. I'm going to show you some strategies you might want to recall next time you get stuck on words like those when you're reading independently. First, a reminder of the fable, The Tortoise and the Hare. And the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on big unfamiliar words, like this one, for example. Think of these words as races. There is a finish line, and if you read like the hare, you might want to get to that finish line before anyone else, and you'll zip through a big word like this. That's where mistakes can happen, but if you read like the tortoise, you take it slow and steady when you come to these unfamiliar words. That patience is definitely going to improve your ability to decode them, so keep it in mind. Let's practice. This first word I showed you is not very big. I'm going to start at the end, though, down at the finish line. Sometimes the hardest part of a word is at the finish line, so it's very easy to start there. You recognize this ending? How about this one? Yeah, that says ISHIN. There is an I in the middle of this word. The beginning syllable is vol. Is that volition? Yeah, this is volition. That's an abstract noun. You may not have heard of that word before, but it is an abstract noun. The origin of that word is in Latin, volitionem, volitionem. And in Latin, that means your will. And what that means is your power to make decisions, right? Think of it like this. Say to yourself, I think I will, If that's your will, volitionem. This Latin part of that word, especially this root, I-T-I-O-N, carried over to French, volition, and then English, volition. And volition, 3-syllable words. And you got to know this root here. That's a Latin root, I-T-I-O-N. It does not look the way it's pronounced, all right? So it's tricky to remember, especially spelling. In English, it's pronounced ISHIN or ISHIN, depending on where you live and what you learned. So it's spelled I-T-I-O-N. You need to know that, all right? Not to be confused with this word. All right, back down at the finish line again. That's a lot of times that's the hardest part of a word, so it's okay to start at the finish line, in my opinion. There's ISHIN. There's an A in the middle of this word. Back in the beginning is the tricky vowel pair I-O. What do you do with that? Well, that could be the open syllable vi and viol. Oh yeah, this is violation. It's a noun. The root word is violate, which is a verb, and the origin of that word is in Latin as well. Violare, violare, meaning to treat with outrage or dishonor. Notice the I-O in violare is pronounced E-O, violare. And we use that spelling, well, you're familiar with that spelling is what I mean, from Rio. And here's another Latin word, violationem. Violationem has to do with injury. And that I-O is pronounced, well, I-O, the way it's spelled, violate. So you got to know there's two ways to pronounce the I-O vowel pair. It's a tricky one, just like in the state Ohio. Now this Latin root, A-T-I-O-N, transferred over to English, and we have the word violation in English, and violation is a 4-syllable word. The I-O in violation is pronounced I-O, like the state Ohio. And we all know what a violation is, right? Beep, 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 violation, violation. I'm going to give you a ticket, not movie tickets. Yes, that's right, a parking ticket, parking violation. Something that a lot of people might be familiar with. A reminder that A-T-I-O-N Latin root, all right, in English is pronounced ISHIN or ISHIN. So you may be tempted to spell it that way, but it's A-T-I-O-N. All right, the third word I showed you is pretty tricky word. It's very big. Let's break it up and start in the beginning. It starts with in. Looks like the word dig to me. And is that gen, or I think that's that G followed by an E. That's going to be a soft G sound, gen. So this must be digen or digen. You recognize that ending? The OU makes it a little bit confusing. This is the word indigenous. Indigenous, indigenous, 4-syllable word. It's an adjective, and the origin of that word goes back to Latin as well. Indigenous, indigenous in Latin. The gen is a Latin root that has to do with birth. And the in is a Latin root that, well, means in. So indigenous in Latin means born in or native. And this Latin word indigenous, it's the same word pretty much we have in English, indigenous, except English added an O to the ending to get O-U-S, but it's not pronounced ingenyuss. It's still pronounced ingenyuss. It's like that O is silent. And the G, let's talk about G for a second here. G has 2 sounds, and I'm going to give you a little trick to remember that G has 2 sounds. I want you to hold your hand up. This is sign language for the letter G. Kind of resembles a goose if you think about it, right? So I want you to think about geese here, all right? And in life, you can either like geese or you don't like geese. And if you like geese, you might think geese are gentle giants. So hold your hand up and go, jud, jud, jud. That's the soft G sound. But if you don't like geese, you might think geese are gross. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Hold your hand up, go, good, good, good. That's the hard G sound. So 2 sounds of G. And when it's followed by an E, like in indigenous, that's going to be a soft G. There are rules about G. We don't have time to talk about them, but you should be familiar with them by now. Not to be confused with this word. Again, I'm going to start at the finish line. I think the trickiest part of this word is down at the finish line. You have to make it there to notice it. Let's go back to that. Do you recognize it? All right, back in the beginning, I think it's obvious. It starts with in. There's the gen we were just talking about. Is that gen? Oh, you know what? This looks like genius. Yeah, this is ingenious. It's an adjective. And the origin, surprise, is Latin. Ingeniuss, ingeniuss, meaning very intelligent, right? That word's been around a long time, ingeniuss. And this Latin part, or the root of this Latin word, transferred over to English, ingenyuss. Except in English, they took that ios ending and they added a U, ingenious. And the trick to ious is in this case, it's pronounced, well, ingenious. It's pronounced like genius, the ious. And you might think it's spelled yuss, right? ious in this case is spelled or pronounced yes, ingenious. You might accidentally spell it like this if you ever have to spell ingenious. So know that it's ious. It's a root you need to be familiar with. That's it for today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more decoding videos like this one. Tell a friend, a family member, or a teacher about me too. Spread the good word. And my Facebook page, there's a photo album full of reading challenges I've written to help you practice decoding those big words and to awesomize your fluency. So keep that in mind. Hope you enjoyed the video today, found it helpful. Come back and see me soon. Bye.